individuals or organizations, we want to excel. We want to succeed. We want to continue to adapt to the changing conditions around us. But statistically speaking, we are average. How can we balance these two apparently contradicting conditions? My name is David Orban, and this is The Context. If you ask 100 people, too many of them will reply, oh yeah, they are above average. And of course, that cannot be. Average is defined by measuring a sample, in our case the 100 people, in terms of some parameter, whether their intelligence or their speed or whatever other kind of ability, and then seeing how this distribution over the sample of the values can be calculated in the middle. I don't want to get too mathematical to define what is the difference between the median and the average and the mean. But the point is, if you feel that, for example, you are smarter than the average in a particular group, probably you are wrong. And that is fine. We are all multidimensional people. There are so many ways that you can be seen and recognized objectively to be above average. You just have to realize that on average, you are average. If we look at a lot of the dimensions that define you as a human being. Now, how can you as an individual excel? First of all, by realizing that it is impossible to excel all around across so many different parameters. You have to pick the battles that you can win. There can be biological reasons why you will never be a sprinter, or if you are afraid of heights, well, don't try to be a parachuter. If you faint when you see blood, probably your best career choice is not that of a surgeon. There will be things that, when you try them, come easier. Invest on those. Invest in the directions where you can improve having fun and the necessary investment and sweat and blood that will needed in order to achieve the level of excellence that positions you among the top 1,000 or even the top 1 million in that particular field in the world is still joyful. And you can, day after day, practice what you want to improve. So picking your choices and picking the battles that you can win will make you naturally specialize in a particular direction. And in that direction, sooner or later, you will be recognized as being excellent, as objectively being above average. Organizations have the same problem. Constantly, internal and outside observers will want to be able to conclude that the organization is improving and the organization is beating its competition. But if you look over a certain period of time in a particular industry and you assemble a number of players, well, that sample will have an average. And the likelihood that a particular organization in that group is average is statistically very high. Now, there is even an additional component. Organizations tend to become more and more risk-averse, especially if they have been successful and achieved a certain position in their industry. Mediocrity seeps in. This synonym of being average that is already full of pejorative meaning, where the people who are labeled as mediocre or the organization labeled as mediocre will not say, oh, that means that I am average. No, they will feel that they are worse than average, regardless of the etymological roots of the word. So how can an organization avoid to be seen as tending towards mediocrity? Well, it is an effort. It is an effort in maintaining and improving company culture. It is an effort in allowing people to improve themselves by letting them learn, making them eager to learn. It is an effort in setting bars of objectives and then reaching them and then moving the bar higher, making the objective harder, and then constantly restructuring the organization as needed to make sure that it can achieve that harder objective. Now, the possibility of this kind of constant improvement is an illusion, because as individuals we die, so that puts an end on our ability to keep improving, and organizations die too, or at least they become something so different from what they were before that the same measures that could make you conclude that the particular organization you were looking at was excellent in its field, well, if the field is different, the products or services are different, then you are measuring something that is not the same as before, and that organization of the past, for all practical purposes, doesn't exist. The new one may have the same name, but it needs to be looked at differently and hopefully be judged as being excellent as well. This kind of renewal is important because the changing conditions in the environment, whether biological or that of the markets of products and services, economical and financial, require adaptation and adaptability. And fossilized organisms and fossilized organizations are not going to be adaptable, are not going to be able to adapt. So, being able to understand the origins of mediocrity, whether in an organization or in ourselves, is the first step to be able to recognize how we can improve and to what extent we can improve. Understanding also the limits of this improvability and understanding how we can reach a condition of a life worth living and a condition of an organization that is generative, that contributes to society, that makes this world a better place to be and to thrive in. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of The Context. If you like what you heard and you want to support my work, you're welcome to do so on patreon.com/David Orban.